What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Friday, May 24th. Nice winning day there on Thursday, guys. Things worked out pretty well. We did miss on that Pirates minus 158 pick. Their bullpen just absolutely imploded on us. That didn't work out, but other than that, we had a 3-1 day, so very reasonable. The Yankees minus 135 came through, absolutely no trouble at all. The Phillies minus 1.5, that was an easy win as well, and the Padres took care of business there. It did take them extra innings to come away with the win, but in 10 innings, they won 6-4, so put that one on the board. A 3-1 day. Definitely a winning day, so let's go ahead and try and keep things on rolling here in this full Friday slate. First, do me a big favor and hit that like button. It's a great way to show some support for the channel and all the work we put in here every single day. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. It's 100% free and can keep you from missing out on these picks. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and join our free email list and check out our top confidence plays on all the major sports. Comment below with all the bets you're looking today. We'll give you our best advice on all of them. We respond to absolutely every single comment, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our final picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Detroit Tigers. These two teams are actually playing right now. We see that they're tied up and going into the top of the 7th inning with 1 out right now, but Toronto has been playing slightly better here as of late. I mean, they've won 3 out of their last 4 coming into their game there on Thursday, so they're hoping they can, keep things rolling here. They're handing the ball in this game to Alek Manoah, who's coming off of a pretty solid start, guys. Definitely his best start of the year. A fantastic start, in all honesty, guys. He went 7 innings, gave only a single hit while striking out 7 and walking 1 against the Tampa Bay Rays. He did not give up a single run in that game, and he just looked very, very good. He's had his struggles this season. His first start of the year against the Nationals was definitely terrible, but then his second start against the Twins was quite a bit better, and then his third start there, rounding into form here, just dominated the Tampa Bay Rays. So definitely feel pretty solid handing him the ball. I'm sure the Rays are happy to see him headed in the right direction here, and their offense hasn't been great over the course of the season, obviously, but lately they've been doing a lot better. I mean, in their current game, they scored 3 runs, but they scored 9, 0, 9, and 5 runs over their last 4 games before this one. So things are definitely looking up for an offense that over the course of the season has been ranked near the bottom. I mean, they're still 29th in runs scored, but they're 17th in on-base percentage, 23rd in batting average. Like, I think this is a team whose offense is trending up here at least a little bit. I expect them to continue to get better. I don't necessarily think this is going to be like a significantly above average MLB offense necessarily, but I think they're going to find a way to score some runs in general, and I don't think they're nearly as bad as they've looked so far this season. And going up against the Detroit Tigers here, I think they'll definitely have their chances. I mean, the Tigers have lost their last 4 in a row. Looks like they're in a decent spot to maybe lose this game as well, running that losing streak to 5 games. I mean, they are down 3-1 now in the top of the 7th, and they're handing the ball in this game to Matt Manning, who's 0-1 on the year with a 4.88 ERA, and he's not coming off the best start, guys. His last time out, he got shelled by the Arizona Diamondbacks. He did only give up 4 earned runs. I mean, only 4, but 10 hits surrendered over 5 innings while walking 3 and striking out only 1. Pretty mediocre stuff there. His start before that, he got knocked around by the Miami Marlins, giving up 3 earned runs on 9 hits over 5 2/3. His start before that against the light-hitting St. Louis Cardinals, he gave up 4 earned runs on 7 hits over only 4 2/3. Like, this guy straight up not having a good time right now, and the Tigers can't feel great handing the ball to anybody except for an absolute ace right now as this offense just continues to flounder. I mean, over the last few games, they've obviously scored 1 in their current game, 3, 3, 3, and 4. Like, I guess not absolute bottom of the barrel numbers, but this is looking like a bottom third of the majors style offense to me. I mean, they're 20th in runs scored, 20th in team batting average, batting only .232 as a squad, 22nd on base percentage. Like, just not a team that I'm very excited to see when their hitters come up to the plate. Yeah, just not a great squad at the plate, guys. I mean, their leading on base guy and their leading batting average guy is Riley Green, and he's batting .239. Like, just not excited about this offense, and it's a little bit surprising here to see that the odds makers are giving the Tigers a lot of credit here. We've got the Tigers at minus 102, the Blue Jays at minus 107, and we've got an over-under in this game of 8.5. So there are a couple different things that interest me in this game, guys. I'm definitely going to be on the Toronto Blue Jays minus 107. I think they're in a great spot for this game with Manoah out there on the mound, but guys, I'm also very interested in the under in this game. Under 8.5 seems very reasonable. I mean, Detroit is 26, 20, and 3 to the over, which is a bit concerning, but Toronto is 28 and 20 to the under, and with neither one of these offenses looking amazing, I tend to lean a little bit towards the under, but my primary play on this game is going to be the Blue Jays minus 107. I think they're in a very, very good spot. Next on the docket, guys, we lead the Seattle Mariners going on the road to take on the Washington Nationals. The Mariners come into this game, can't be happy with how things ended up in that Yankees series, guys. They got off to a great start winning the first 2 games, but ended up splitting the series, losing 7-3 in Game 3 and then 5-0 in Game 4. So yeah, obviously not ideal, not what they were aiming for. They're handing the ball in this one to George Kirby, hoping that he can, right the ship a little bit for him. He's 4-4 in the season with a 3.99 ERA and comes into this game fresh off of not the best start against the Orioles, guys. I mean, back on the 19th, he went 6 innings, gave up 9 hits and 5 earned runs, 2 home runs in that outing. Like, not a great start. The guy has had his moments this season for sure. I mean, he shut out the Royals over 7 innings back on the 13th, so he's been decent, but he's kind of been a little bit inconsistent lately. I mean, he got knocked around by the Twins his last time out before that good start against the Royals, so this guy, jury's a little bit out on him as far as I'm concerned right now, and the jury is definitely out on the Mariners offense. They've only scored 3 runs over their last 2 games. That's not great. This team is 24th in the majors in runs scored, 23rd in the majors in on-base percentage. Like, this is a squad that very much relies on their top-tier starting pitching to get the job done, and if that doesn't happen, their offense is very unlikely to be able to dig them out of that hole. And yeah, they're taking on not the best opponent in this game, guys. They're taking on the Washington Nationals, who haven't been having a great time. They won only 1 out of 3 against the Twins in the last series, and yeah, guys, in the last 2 games of that series, they scored a grand total of 2 runs combined. Not ideal. The Nationals are 21-27 on the season, handing the ball in this game to Mackenzie Gore, who's putting up some reasonable numbers. I mean, he's only 2-4 on the season, but a 3.30 ERA is not awful, and he's coming off a very respectable start against the Phillies, where he went 6 1/3 innings, gave up only 2 earned runs on 3 hits. He struck out 3 and walked 3, so obviously that's not great, but you got to be a little bit careful out there when you're facing Phillies hitters, so giving up the occasional walk is better than giving up a bunch of home runs. And yeah, this guy's been solid this season, guys. I mean, over his last 5 starts, actually, he hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs, and he's faced teams like the Dodgers, the Rangers, the Phillies during that stretch. Like, this guy is throwing the ball great, and really the question here for the Nationals is, what are they going to get out of their offense? Because lately the answer has been not much. This team is down to 25th in the majors in runs scored, with only 190 runs scored through, let's see, how many games they played? 48 games. That is not an amazing number, guys. They're 27th in the majors in batting average, 21st in the majors in on-base percentage. Like, none of those numbers are really getting me super excited about this, the potential of this offense putting up runs. And yeah, the odds makers also not super high on the Nationals. We see the Nationals at plus 126, the Mariners at minus 148, and we see an over-under in this game of 7.5. Guys, I don't think this is going to end up in the pinned comment, but I do like the Washington Nationals plus 126 a decent amount in this game. I mean, it's got a shot to make it into the pinned comment, I suppose. I mean, plus 126 is not nothing. Like, that's nice to look at. We know the Mariners are not a high-scoring offense, and we really like Mackenzie Gore out there on the mound. Over-under of 7.5 isn't quite good enough for us to go with, although we do see both teams showing trends towards the under, so maybe the under is in play here, but at 7.5, it's not going to end up in the pinned comment. If anything from this game ends up in the pinned comment, it will be the Nationals plus 126, because I really like their side of this pitching matchup. Moving right along here, guys, we're going to the Kansas City Royals going on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Royals come into this game fresh off of another win. They've now won 6 in a row. They swept the Oakland A's and then finished off that sweep there of the Detroit Tigers. So things are definitely looking up in KC right now. They're up to 32-19 on the season, handing the ball in this one to Seth Lugo, who's been just dominant this season. The guy's 7-1 with a 1.79 ERA, and coming into this game off of a decent, not as dominant as some of his starts have been, but a very good start against the Oakland A's, where he went 5 2/3, gave only 2 earned runs and struck out 10. Like, he's looking very, very good. He's had dominant starts this season against all kinds of teams. Like, he's been maybe slightly taking advantage of some worse opponents. He had kind of a hiccup game against the Milwaukee Brewers, but I mean, only gave up 5 hits and 2 earned runs in that game. So, like, not terrible. It just didn't seem like he had his AA plus stuff in that game, but regardless, he's looked very good, and the Royals offense is finding a way to put together some runs, guys. They scored 8, 10, 8, 8, 5, and 6 runs over their last 6 games. Like, obviously not facing the toughest team in the Tigers and the A's, but still, that's very respectable offensive production. They're up to 3rd in the majors in runs scored somehow, guys. It's absolutely crazy pants stuff here for the Royals. They're just killing it right now. I mean, they're 15th in the majors in on-base percentage. They're getting, they've got a slugging percentage of 409, 408 right now, which is 9th in the majors. Team batting average hovering around 250, which is great. Like, this team is absolutely killing it. Hoping they can keep things rolling here against the Tampa Bay Rays team, who is not having a great time. They've now lost 4 in a row. They got swept by the Boston Red Sox, losing the last game of that series 8-5. So that probably doesn't feel great. They're down to 25-26 on the season, handing the ball in this game to Sean Armstrong, who, yeah, he is going to be making the start in this one. Not normally a starter, guys. I mean, his last 5 appearances, I don't think he's made a start this season, actually. His last time out was against the Red Sox. He went 1 inning and didn't give up any hits or any runs or anything like that. So, like, congratulations. But yeah, I am not super high on his ability to go deep into this game. And yeah, we don't really have any reason to think he would be going deep into this game. And we're also not super high on the Tampa Bay Rays offense, although, I mean, they did score 5 runs in the last game, so I guess that's not nothing, but over the course of this season, guys, they've looked like maybe an average offensive team at best. I mean, they're 19th in the majors in runs scored, 15th in the majors in batting average, 14th in on-base percentage. Like, getting on base at a 310 clip is not amazing. They're 25th in the majors in slugging percentage, guys, slugging only 359 as a squad. Like, that, not great numbers there. And when you look at the numbers that the odds makers are putting out for us, they're kind of high on the Kansas City Royals, but not nearly as high as I would have thought. The Royals are only minus 120 right now. The Rays are plus 102, and we've got an over-under in this game of 8. So my big problem in this game is that the Royals are only 11-11 on the road this season, but I feel like that's countered by the fact that we've got Seth Lugo on the mound. So go ahead and give me the Royals minus 120 in this game. I think this is a pretty good spot for them. If this was a Royals at home situation, this would definitely be my biggest bet of the day, but I think there's a very, very good chance this is still going to end up as one of our core pinned comment plays. Next on the docket, guys, we've got the Los Angeles Dodgers going on the road to take on the Cincinnati Reds, a team they faced in a 4-game series not too long ago where they won 3 out of 4 in that series. And yeah, I mean, a couple of those games were close, and they obviously did lose game 1 of that series, but it clearly looked like the Dodgers were the better team. And at 33-19, that's not really a big shock, but man, they just lost both games in a small 2-game series to the Diamondbacks. So yeah, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks. So a lot of things, a lot of question marks for the Dodgers right now, guys. I'm a little bit concerned about this team and how they're looking right now. They're handing the ball in this game to James Paxton, which has to feel great, though. He's 5-0 in the season with a 2.84 ERA, and he is coming off of a start where he gave up 3 earned runs to the Reds, but he went 6 innings in that start. He gave up 2 home runs, so you take out those 2 mistakes, and it's basically just a great, great outing. So we're leaning towards the idea that he would probably have a very solid chance at correcting those mistakes against a not too strong of a hitting team. And generally speaking, this season, the Dodgers have been one of the 2 best offenses in the majors, but over the last couple of games, they've scored 3 and 0 runs, respectively. Like, you're getting shut out by the Diamondbacks. Like, what exactly is going on here with the Dodgers? I mean, we see Ohtani putting up crazy numbers. His team is 2nd in the majors in runs scored and 4th in batting average. They're 2nd in the majors getting on base at a 336 clip. Like, how do you exactly go about getting shut out by the Diamondbacks when you're putting up those kind of numbers over the course of the season? They're hoping they can get back on track here, going up against the Reds, who just lost to the Padres 6-4, so that probably doesn't feel amazing. They lost 2 out of 3 in that series, and they're down to 20-30 on the season, so not amazing. Handing the ball in this game to Graham Ashcraft, who's 3-3 on the year with a 4.25 ERA, so not amazing, not absolutely terrible, but we have seen this guy give up at least 3 runs in each of his last 3 starts. He was part of that series against the Diamondbacks only a few days ago, back on the 18th. He was part of that not great series against the Dodgers, guys. His last time out was against the Dodgers. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs on 3 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 5, so not a disaster outing by any stretch of the imagination, but his team did lose that game 4-0, so not ideal. And yeah, the Reds' bats have also not been ideal lately, guys. I mean, they scored 4, 3, 2, 0, 3. Like, this isn't a team that's putting up a lot of offense, guys. No big shock there. We see Elly De La Cruz leading the team in basically all the major hitting categories, but he's only batting 254. Like, this team is 21st in runs scored, dead last in the majors in batting average, guys. This team is batting 215 as a squad. Absolutely terrible. Not going to waste a lot of time talking about the Reds offense right now, guys. They are not good. Looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Dodgers at minus 158, the Reds at plus 148. We see over-unders in this one of 9.5 or 10. Well, guys, I'm definitely not interested in over 10, so you can definitely pencil me in for a little taste of under 10, but I think I'm more interested in the side in this game. Looking at the Dodgers minus 154 or 158 doesn't seem very unreasonable, but if you look at them against the run line in this game, if you take a minus 1.5, you can get them at minus 110. Is that really worth it? I kind of tend to lean towards no, so go ahead and give me the Dodgers minus 158, but with how they've been playing lately, I'm not 100% sure if I'm putting this in the pinned comment. Regardless, though, I do think it's solid value, especially with James Paxton out there on the mound. Next up, guys, we've got the Milwaukee Brewers going on the road to take on the Boston Red Sox. The Brewers come into this game not looking too great, guys. They've actually lost 3 of their last 4 overall. They just lost 2 out of 3 to the Miami Marlins, so that's not great. They're down to 28-21 on the season. Handing the ball in this game to Bryce Wilson, who's going to be making a start here. I mean, he still somehow hasn't figured in a result this season despite making a whole bunch of starts. His last time out against Houston, he went 4 2/3, gave up 2 earned runs on 5 hits, so didn't go super deep into the game. He has had some better outings this season, but isn't a guy that we really look as super likely to go very deep into the game. And yeah, the Brewers feel like they're going to need some pretty solid starting pitching right now because the bats are not killing it. I mean, they scored 0 runs. They got shut out in the last game of that series. They did score 7 in game 2 against the Marlins, but then only 2 runs in game 1. Like, this is supposed to be one of the best offenses in the majors, at least. And yeah, man, they just haven't been looking like it. Haven't been living up to it right now. Their numbers are still great. I mean, they're getting on base at a 331 clip. They're batting 254 as a team. They're tied for 5th in the majors in runs scored, but not swinging the hottest bats right now. They're hoping they can get back on track here against the Boston Red Sox, who have been playing great. They've won 4 in a row. They're up to 26 and 24 on the season, handing the ball in this game to Cutter Crawford, who's been very good. He's 2-2 on the season with a 2.17 ERA. His last time out, he dominated the Cardinals. He went 5 2/3 innings, gave up only a single earned run. He did give up 6 hits, so maybe not an ideal start, but start before that against the Tampa Bay Rays wasn't great, so definitely a solid bounce back from him there going up against the Cardinals. And yeah, I mean, he's going to be facing an on paper much stronger offense, but I mean, we've just talked about how the Brewers offense hasn't been looking great lately, and the Red Sox offense has been looking much better. They scored 8, 5, 5, and 11 runs over the last 4. Like, they're swinging some pretty hot bats right now. They're up to 12th in the majors in runs scored, 8th in the majors in slugging percentage. They're brushing up against being a top 10 on base percentage team. Like, this is an offense that's looking pretty good to me. And looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Brewers at plus 118, the Red Sox at minus 127, and we've got an over-under in this game of 9. We do see that Milwaukee is an MLB best 29, 19, and 1 to the over, but I don't think we're super interested in the over-under in this game, guys. I think we're more interested in just going ahead and taking the Boston Red Sox. I don't have a lot of faith here in Bryce Wilson. I think Cutter Crawford's in for a very solid outing unless the Brewers have like some miracle offensive outburst. So go ahead and give me the Red Sox minus 127 in this game. Does it get into the pinned comment? Seems questionable. We'll just put it at that. You'll have to check down below to make sure. Next up, guys, we're looking at the San Francisco Giants going on the road to take on the New York Mets. The Giants come into this game 25 and 26 on the season thanks to winning 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. Needed a huge Pirates bullpen collapse and some very timely hitting there from the Giants to win Game 3 of that series, but they'll definitely take it. They needed it. This team hasn't been having too much success this season. They're handing the ball in this one to Kyle Harrison, who's 4-1 on the year with a 3.60 ERA, and coming off a respectable but not dominant start against the Rockies. He's actually, his last couple of starts have been very, very similar. He's went 5 innings in each one of them, going against the Rockies, and then before that going against the Reds. 5 innings in each one of those starts, 3 earned runs surrendered in each one of those starts, and definitely some control issues in both starts. I mean, he only walked 2 against Colorado, but he walked 5 against the Cincinnati Reds. Like, this guy doesn't seem like he's had his best stuff his last couple of starts. Does that mean that will carry over into this start, though? Not necessarily. We'll just have to see what he looks like out there on the mound. And the Giants' offense has definitely been looking better. I mean, they've scored 7, 9, 6, 4, 14, and 10 runs over their last 6 games. So very respectable there. They're up to 17th in the majors in runs scored, 9th in the majors in on-base percentage. So this is a team that's definitely hitting the ball a little better right now, swinging some hotter bats, and they're hoping they can keep that going against the Mets, who come to this game 21 and 28 on the season. They've lost their last 3 in a row. They got swept by the Cleveland Guardians, so that couldn't feel great. And yeah, this team just straight up not having a good time right now, guys. They're handing the ball in this one to Christian Scott, who's 0-2 on the season with a 4.32 ERA, and coming off a not very good start against the Marlins, guys. He went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits and 4 earned runs against the Marlins. Like, that's not great. His start before that, he gave up 3 earned runs on 6 hits over 6 innings to the Braves. Like, not a disaster start, but not great once again. Like, definitely got some major questions about Christian Scott being out there on the mound, and we have some even bigger questions about the Mets bats that haven't been looking great. They've scored 3, 6, and 1 runs over their last 3 games, so not disaster level bad, but this team sitting at 18th in the majors in runs scored, 17th in batting average, 16th in on-base percentage. Like, I don't really know that this is going to be even an average MLB offense this season. If they're not, I mean, that puts a huge burden on the pitching staff, so we'll have to see what the Mets can actually do down the stretch here, but it makes not a ton of sense, honestly, to me, if you're asking me about the numbers for this game, guys. I mean, the Mets are minus 125, the Giants are plus 120. We've got an over-under in this game of 8. Maybe the odds makers are taking it into account that the Giants are 10 and 16 on the road this season, which is obviously not very good, but the Mets are only 10 and 14 at home, and they are not playing well, and the same cannot really be said here for the Giants. They're playing some of their better ball of the season, so guys, we're going to be siding with the Giants in this game with a very solid chance to end up in the pinned comment. Go ahead and give me the San Francisco Giants plus 120. I don't think Kyle Harrison out there on the mound is probably a better spot, pretty solidly better spot than Christian Scott, so yeah, give me the Giants in this one for sure. Next up on today's slate, guys, we've got the Baltimore Orioles going on the road to take on the Chicago White Sox. We're jumping the gun a little bit with this pick, guys. Their game that they're playing right now is only in the end of the 3rd inning. We see the White Sox up 2-1, but we're not too scared for the Orioles. They've definitely got the offense to pull things out in this one, and they're handing the ball in Game 2 of the series to Corbin Burnes, who's 4-2 on the season with a 2.56 ERA. He's looked very, very good lately. He's only given up 1 run in each of his last 2 starts, and his last start against the Seattle Mariners, that 1 run that he gave up wasn't even an earned run, and he struck out 11 over 6 innings. Like, the guy has been looking very, very good. He even had a good start against the Yankees back at the very beginning of this month. So Corbin Burnes definitely looking like a very much plus level starter right now. And the Orioles offense, while they're having a little bit of a hard time, like, I'm basically throwing out that whole series against the Cardinals because there was so much weirdness, weather delays, like all kinds of weird stuff. And they had to go against Sonny Gray in game 1 of that series. So just in general, I'm not going to hold that against them. And regardless, this team is still 10th in the majors in runs scored and 1st in the majors in slugging percentage. Like, I'm going to go ahead and pencil them in to score some runs here going up against the Chicago White Sox, who obviously at 15-35 in the season, not a great team. They're handing the ball in this one to Chris Flexen, who's 2-4 in the season with a 5.48 ERA. And his last time out, he got absolutely shelled by the Yankees. Start before that, he gave up 7 hits over 4 2/3 innings and 3 earned runs to the Washington Nationals. Like, this guy has not looked great. He did have a solid start against the Tampa Bay Rays. He's actually had 2 very good starts against the Rays this season, so maybe he just kind of got their number or something like that. But yeah, we are not super high on Chris Flexen, and obviously not high on the White Sox offense, which is the worst offense in the majors. Really no debate there. They are just absolutely terrible. Terrible offensive team. Not good. Not heading in a positive direction. The fact that they've scored, 2 runs in their current game, the game that is now tied, by the way, is kind of a miracle for them. Like, this is a terrible offensive team. Not feeling great about that. And the odds makers are certainly not feeling great about the White Sox. They've got them plus 220. The Orioles are minus 245. And we got an over-under in this game of 8.5. Not super interested in that 8.5, but you could definitely talk me into a little look here at the Orioles against the run line, although that's getting pretty expensive these days, guys. If you take the Orioles minus 2.5, yeah, all the way up to minus 2.5, guys, which is not something we've ever actually taken in one of these videos before. You can get them at plus 105, but that seems very steep to me. I also see some 1.5s out there. If you take them minus 1.5, you can get them at minus 154. That seems much more reasonable to me. I think that's where we're going to go with this game. The price might be too expensive, guys. The price might keep this out of our pinned comment plays. We've had a lot of games so far that we've really liked, so we'll just have to wait and see if it ends up in there, but definitely siding with Baltimore in this game, as I think the White Sox have almost 0 chance. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Texas Rangers going on the road to take on the Minnesota Twins. We saw the Rangers just get swept by the Phillies. We made a lot of money off of that series, so we'll definitely take that. They're down to 24-27 on the season, so that's not great. They just had to put Gray on the IL with a groin strain, so that's also some bad news for them. They're handing the ball in this one to Jose Urena. He's going to be making a 4th start, I think it is, this season, his 4th start, and his last time out, he looked very good against the Angels, guys. He gave only a single earned run over 6 innings on 4 hits, so that will definitely work. And in general, over his last 3 outings, those are his last 3, they were all starts, he's looked very reasonable. It was against the A's, the Rockies, and the Angels, so not exactly a murderer's row right there, but hey, coming out of the bullpen, transitioning to a starting role, he's looked very, very good. And the Rangers' bats have not been looking very, very good, guys. They had a terrible time against the Phillies. They scored 2 runs. Like, in their series against the Angels, they only scored 1, 3, and 3 runs. Like, that's also not great. Definitely a team that's pointed downwards in terms of their offensive production right now. I mean, they're 10th in runs scored still, but that is a number that is just falling off a cliff right now. They are 10th in on base percentage, another number that's trending down, and yeah, slugging percentage not looking great. Like, this team just not swinging the hottest bats whatsoever at the moment, and yeah, we don't know when/if they're going to reawaken. I kind of expect them to at some point, but will they reawaken here against the Twins, who come into this game winners of 2 in a row? They won their last 2 against the Washington Nationals. That was a couple wins they really needed to snap a prolonged losing streak. This team's handing the ball in this one to Bailey Ober, who's 4-2 on the season with a 4.40 ERA, and man, he is trying to get the memory of that last start that he made out of his system. He went up against the Cleveland Guardians and just got shelled over 4 innings, gave up 5 earned runs, 8 hits. Not great. He gave up a home run in that game. Like, not his normal stuff, guys. I mean, this dude has looked pretty good most of the season. He's had some weird outings where he struggled. Like, he struggled against the White Sox back on the 1st of this month, which is obviously weird. But other than that, he's looked very, very respectable. The problem kind of, in general for the Twins, at least lately, has kind of been their offense. But they are up to 13th in the majors in runs scored. They're 25th, though, in on-base percentage. So that's kind of a sign you're getting a little bit lucky to score these runs. And yeah, I mean, looking at the numbers for this game, not super excited about where they're at right now. We've got the Twins at minus 150, the Rangers at plus 130. We got an over-under in this game of 8.5. Like, guys, I don't really like any of this, I'll be honest. I mean, we do see both teams showing some trends to the under, so I guess if you wanted to just strictly play the trends, you could, but I'm not super high on that either. If you're forcing me to bet this game, I don't have a choice. I guess give me the Twins minus 150 under the hope that Bailey Ober will have some sort of bounce back, but yeah, in general, guys, this is a game that I am staying far, far away from. Next on the docket, guys, we got a pretty exciting series starting off in St. Louis. We've got the Chicago Cubs going on the road to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cubs not having a great time right now, guys. They just lost 2 out of 3 to the Atlanta Braves. Before that, they lost 3 out of 4 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're down to 27-24 on the season, but their saving grace is about to be out there on the mound, guys. Shota Imanaga is running out there. He's got a 5-0 record this season, a 0.84 ERA. The dude is looking just insane out there. His last outing against the Pirates, where his team won 1-0. Yeah, 1-0. They put up 1 run against the Pirates. He went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, and struck out 7. Didn't give up a single earned run. He hasn't given up a run over either of his last 2 starts. He hasn't given up a run in 3 out of his last 5 starts. Like, the dude's looking insane. Insane. Sure, he maybe hasn't faced the absolute toughest opponents. He did give up 7 hits over 7 innings of work against the San Diego Padres back on the 7th of this month. But yeah, just in general, dude is looking absolutely crazy. The Cubs offense, on the other hand, though, is not looking crazy, guys. They've been the main problem behind this here slump that they're in. They're down to 15th in the majors in runs scored, 13th in on-base percentage. They're all the way down to 21st in the majors with a slugging percentage of only .372. Like, that is just not great, guys. Things not exactly trending in a positive direction right now for the Cubs, unless they've got Imanaga on the mound, which they do in this game. They're hoping they can get their series with their rivals off to a good start, but the Cardinals have been playing well. They just won 3 in a row against the Baltimore Orioles. They're up to 23-26 on the season, so for sure trending in the right direction. And they're handing the ball in this game to Miles Mikolas, who's not had the best season, not the season that they had envisioned for him. He's 3-5 on the year with a 5.77 ERA, but he's coming off a great start against the Boston Red Sox and a respectable start against the Brewers, so maybe things are turning around here. His last time out, he went 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, a single earned run. It was a home run, but he struck out 4 and walked 1, and yeah, positives that he can take. Yeah, he'll take any positive he can get right now, because things looked pretty rough here out of the gate, but maybe he's turning it around here. We've got at least some faith that that could be the case, and the Cardinals offense is definitely turning things around, guys. In their series against the Orioles, they scored 5, 3, and 6 runs respectively. They had a 10-run outburst in their series against the Red Sox before that, and they won 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox. Like, this offense definitely turning things around right now. They are still down in 28th in the majors in runs scored, but they're up to 18th in the majors in on-base percentage, 22nd in the majors in batting average, and those are all big improvements from where they've been in general this season. So definitely excited to see the Cardinals offense turning things around here a little bit. Looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Cardinals at plus 122. The over-under in this game is at 8.5. We see the Cubs at minus 135. Guys, I'm not really sure which way to go with this game. I mean, I definitely think Imanaga will dominate, but will the Cubs be able to put up enough offense to help him out? I think they probably will. I don't think there's enough evidence here, even with the Cardinals playing better lately, that we can go against Imanaga. So go ahead and give me the Cubs minus 135 in this game. Will this end up in the pinned comment? It's definitely got a shot. I mean, we've got Imanaga out there on the mound, but we'll just have to wait and see. Make sure you check down there. Next up, guys, we got the Philadelphia Phillies going on the road to take on the Colorado Rockies. The Phillies come into this game playing some of the best ball in the majors right now. They've won 6 in a row. They just dominated the Texas Rangers over a 3-game series, winning all 3 pretty comfortably. And at 37-14 on the year, they're killing it. They're handing the ball in this one to Christopher Sanchez, who's 2-3 on the year with a 3.31 ERA, and coming off of a very respectable start against the Nationals. He went 7 innings. He did give up 8 hits, so not great there, but only 2 earned runs, and he struck out 8 while walking no one. So a good start, no doubt about it. That's a solid start for sure. He's had his struggles this season, but they haven't been like huge struggles. I mean, his start before that was good against the Mets. The dude does seem to get himself in trouble a little bit and have to pitch around some runners, but if you can do it, go ahead and do it. Like, no problem for me on that. And the Phillies offense will get you out of all kinds of trouble, guys, because they are looking like the best offense in the majors right now. They're first in runs scored, first in on-base percentage, they're second in batting average, they're 6th in slugging percentage. This team can just rake up and down the lineup. Like, we saw Nick Castellanos look amazing. Like, this team just looking great. Zach Wheeler looked great in game 3 of that series against the Rangers. And yeah, no notes for this team. Phillies looking like the best team in baseball right now, and they're taking on the Colorado Rockies, who are not looking like the best team in baseball. They've actually lost 5 of their last 6 overall, with that only 1 win there coming against the Oakland A's, 4-3. They're 16-33 in the season, which isn't great. They're handing the ball in this one to Ty Blatch, who's looking for his first result of the season. He's been in and out of the bullpen this year. His last time out, he started against the San Francisco Giants. He went 3 innings, gave up 6 earned runs. Like, yeah, we're not going to go super in-depth about this guy. We don't have a ton of things to say about him. I mean, he's a bullpen slash starter guy slash long relief guy, and yeah, not super high on him. Not super high on him trying to transition to being a starter right now, and yeah, not a lot of positive things to say about him, and not a ton of positive things to say about the Rockies offense, although they did score 9 runs in the last game. So give them a little bit of credit there where whatever credit is due, but there's a reason this team's 25th in the majors in runs scored, 20th in on-base percentage. Like, just not an elite offensive team. They are 14th or 16th, in slugging percentage and 12th in batting average, but not an elite offense. Not an elite offense in my eyes. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, it makes a lot of sense to see the Phillies at minus 200. The Rockies are plus 172, and we've got an over-under in this game at 10.5. So there's the Coors Field effect for you. We do see that Philadelphia is 15-6 on the road, which is an MLB best number. Colorado is only 9-10 at home, which obviously isn't a very good number at all. And looking at the regular numbers for this game isn't super appealing to take the Phillies minus 200, but I think we're very interested in taking the Phillies minus 1.5. You can get them at minus 121 if you do that. So go ahead and give me the Phillies minus 1.5 in this game. We'll be debating between this one and a few other ones to see where the price points line up and what our confidence level is, but we definitely like the Phillies in this game a very good amount. Next on the docket, guys, we've got the Cleveland Guardians going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Angels. We see the Guardians come into this game playing great. They've won 6 in a row, so looking very, very solid. They finished off that sweep against the New York Mets. They're 33-17 on the season, handing the ball in this game to Logan Allen, who's 5-2 on the year with a 4.91 ERA. His last 2 starts have been dazzling, guys. They were against the White Sox and the Twins, so we're not going to super freak out, but if you go on a 12-inning stretch, a 2-start stretch where you don't give up a single run, that's pretty respectable to me. Not going to exactly be questioning that. And he needed those good starts, bouncing back from a terrible start against the Tigers and kind of a mediocre start against the Houston Astros. But yeah, over his last 2 outings, the guy has looked very, very good, and the Cleveland offense is definitely coming alive. Again, they've scored 6, 7, 3, 5, 11, and 3 runs over their last 6 games, looking very, very good. This team's up to 5th in the majors in runs scored. It seems like they're back on track here for sure. 18th in batting average isn't amazing, but 12th in on base percentage will definitely work. And in general, this team is just finding a way to put up some runs here, and they're getting the job done at the plate and hoping they can keep things rolling here, going up against the Angels, who have won 3 out of the last 4 games. Overall, they just won 2 out of 3 against the Houston Astros. Not a series we would have guessed the Astros would lose, and they're handing the ball in this game to Patrick Sandoval, who's 2-6 on the season with a 4.59 ERA, but coming off a very good start against the Rangers. It's the Rangers, and they're kind of slumping right now, but still, we'll give him some credit. He needed that good start to bounce back from giving up 11 hits to the Kansas City Royals, but in his start against the Rangers, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Definitely a solid outing. The Angels' bats have not looked amazing lately, but they also haven't looked terrible. 2 runs, 5 runs, 9 runs, 4 runs over their last 4 games. Not a disaster right now. They're 14th in the majors in runs scored. It seems like the squad is going to kind of settle around slightly above average at the plate, which without Mike Trout is much better than I thought they would be, to be honest. And yeah, they've hit the ball all right lately. How well they hit the ball here going up against Logan Allen, who's been looking great recently, though. We'll have to wait and see. The odds makers aren't super high on the Angels in this game. They've got them at minus 104, and they've got the Guardians at minus 110. Over-under in this game of 8.5. We do see the Angels are an MLB worst 6-16 at home, which is definitely something to take into consideration, and Cleveland is 15-11 on the road, which is plenty solid for me. So given this very reasonable price and our lack of faith here in Patrick Sandoval, we're going to be on the Cleveland Guardians minus 110. I think this is an extremely reasonable spot. Definitely going to end up in the pinned comment for me. Cleveland's been playing great right now, and there's no reason to expect that to stop anytime soon, especially going up against a mediocre Angels team. Moving into the home stretch here, guys, we've got the Houston Astros going on the road to take on the Oakland A's. Houston comes into this game fresh off of losing that series against the Angels, so they can't be too happy about that, but they are 22-28 on the season, which is a lot better than things we're looking at several different points this year. It was almost looking like the Astros were sunk. Obviously, it's a long season, but still, they're trying to dig their way out currently. They're handing the ball in this one to Justin Verlander. He's 2-2 on the year with a 3.97 ERA, and he's had some dazzling starts this season, but his last time out was not one of them, guys. He only went 4 2/3 innings, gave up 4 hits and 4 earned runs to the Brewers. Obviously, a solid offense, but man, you're hoping for better than that out of Justin Verlander, although the dude's 41 years old, so how much is really still left in the tank? I guess we'll have to wait and see how he does in this one. The Astros offense in general hasn't looked terrible, but hasn't looked amazing lately. They're top 10 in all the major categories, guys. They're 1st in batting average and 5th in on-base percentage. So overall, this is a solid offense. Don't get me wrong. We do see Kyle Tucker with 17 home runs and batting almost 290. So obviously, that's all very respectable. This is a good team at the plate. And it looks like it should be a good team on paper, but man, they're having trouble putting together wins right now. And they're hoping they can take advantage here of the Oakland A's, who obviously not having a great time this season. They did just win 2 out of 3 against the Colorado Rockies, so that's not terrible, but 21-31 on the season is not great. Handing the ball in this game to Ross Stripling, who's 1-8 on the year with a 5.19 ERA. He got knocked around by the Royals his last time out, and his start before that, which was at Houston, he went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. He walked 2. He gave up a home run in that game. Like, did not look amazing. So the A's offense could have its work cut out for them in this game. They did score 10 runs in their last game, but this team's still 27th in the majors in runs scored, guys. 28th in batting average. This is one of the lower rated, in my opinion, offensive teams in the majors right now. So not super high on their ability to score a bunch of runs here, especially going against Verlander. And the odds makers agree with us. They've got the Astros at -164. The A's at +145. We got an over-under in this game of 8.5. Houston is only 6-13 on the road, and the A's are 12-14 at home, so we're very, very, very unlikely to be betting this game ourselves, but I do lean slightly towards the Astros, but with Verlander being so inconsistent, it's definitely not a play that I'm interested in making any part of like a core play or a parlay or anything that I would really care about. Next up, guys, we got the Miami Marlins going on the road here to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Marlins come into this game playing pretty well. They're up to 17-34 on the season, which is obviously not great, though. Handing the ball in this one to Braxton Garrett, who's sporting an ERA that starts off with 10, so that's not great. He's gotten shelled in both of his starts this season going up against the Phillies and the Mets. You get shelled by the Phillies, I'll be like, sure. You get shelled by the Mets, I'll be like, ugh. So, yeah, the Marlins offense is very likely to have its work cut out for them in this one, and they have been hitting the ball pretty well lately. But, I mean, how much faith can you have in a team that's 22nd in the majors in runs scored and 29th in the majors in on-base percentage? Like, not a ton of faith from me here. They won their last game against the Brewers 1-0, so not really an offensive outburst. The Diamondbacks, on the other hand, did have an offensive outburst in their last 2 games. They scored 6 and 7 in their last 2 games against the Dodgers to win 2 out of 3 in that series. They're 24-26 on the season, handing the ball to Zach Gallen in this one. He's 5-3 overall with a 3.02 ERA, and coming off a good start against Detroit. Not great. We'll give him good. 6 and 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs, not terrible. He's looked very good, honestly, over his last 4 starts. So definitely looking at him as a plus level starter in this one. And the Diamondbacks offense, like we were just saying, has been hitting the ball well. This has been a top 10 offense most of the season. They've had their ups and downs for sure, but right now they're hitting the ball well. The problem for me on this game is the price. The Diamondbacks are -178. The Marlins are +160. Yeah, once again, guys, not super interested in this play as I don't have enough faith in the Diamondbacks to win this game, although I think they very likely will. So if you want to take the Diamondbacks -178, makes sense to me, but not going to be a core play for me at that price. Last but not least, guys, we got a very interesting series starting up here between the New York Yankees and the San Diego Padres. They're going to be playing this series in San Diego. The Yankees come into this game fresh off of winning 2 in a row to the Mariners after losing 2 in a row to the Mariners, so splitting that series 2-2 has to feel like something of a victory. They're 35-17 on the season, handing the ball in this one to Carlos Rodon. He's 5-2 on the year with a 3.27 ERA, and yeah, all of 4 out of his 5 last starts have looked very good. The one that was a problem was the Orioles, where he got absolutely bashed around. His last time out, he went 6 innings, gave 2 earned runs to the White Sox, so not an insane outing. I mean, it's the White Sox, but that'll definitely work. His start before that against the Twins was also very good, so definitely looking at him, he's looked good right now. I mean, the guy's looking good. No problems for me with Carlos Rodon. No problems for me either for the Yankees offense. They came alive in the second half of that series against Seattle, scoring 7 and 5 runs respectively, and they've been one of the best offensive teams in the majors. Obviously, they're tied for 3rd in runs scored. They're 3rd in the majors in on-base percentage. They're 2nd in the majors in slugging percentage behind only the Orioles. Like, this is a very hard-hitting, very good offensive team. They're going up against the Padres in this one, who just won 2 out of 3 against the Reds. So, I mean, it's the Reds, but the Padres will definitely take it at this point. I mean, they're only 27-26 on the season, so they've definitely got work to do, but they're handing the ball in this game to Yu Darvish, who's 4-1 on the year with a 2.08 ERA, coming off a great start at Atlanta, where he went 7 innings, gave 2 hits, no runs, and struck out 9. His start before that was equally dominant, and it was against the Dodgers, guys. He went 7 innings, gave 2 hits, struck out 7, gave up no runs in that one either. Like, he's looking fantastic now that he's back off the injury report, and yeah, things are looking a lot better for the Padres, especially with him on the mound. I mean, their offense still is searching for consistency here, but over the last 2 games, they looked very, very good, albeit against the Reds, but they're going up against a Yankees team that you're going to have to score some runs against here, and the odds makers have the Yankees at -115. They've got the Padres at +106, and they've got an over-under of 7.5 in this game. Guys, I'm not 100% sure if we can put this in the pinned comment, but I really like Yu Darvish in this one. I mean, he's in a great spot. He's going against a very hard-hitting opponent. There's no doubt about it. So this probably will get left out of the pinned comment if I had to guess, but the Padres +106 seems like an extremely reasonable spot. The Yankees bats have to have some off nights, and man, Darvish has looked so good since coming off the IL. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.